The Last of Us, a fresh take on a worn-down genre. The Last of Us Season 1 is now almost completely out, and its reception from both new and old fans of the franchise has been record-breaking, with this mostly coming down to its unique, non-linear storytelling methods and character development, breaking free from some of the cliches that have held down other recent zombie series / films like The Walking Dead or Resident Evil, just to name a few. This review is brought to you by DICE, the global entertainment content marketplace. DICE offers similar apocalyptic titles, so if you're a buyer looking to acquire content, or a seller looking to get your content out to a global audience, please get in touch with us via our website connect.digital, or email us at dicesales@connectdigital.com. We've seen it before, most evidently in The Walking Dead. A zombie show where zombies are the main enemy just doesn't work. Inevitably, humans must prove to be the main antagonists, with zombies acting more as a situational evil, since character building wise, zombies are pretty 2D. The Last of Us embraces this straight off the bat, with the first episode not featuring a single zombie, other than a few glimpses we get in the opening scene. This focus on world building and character introduction / development, especially through flashbacks, is a refreshing take and helps to build into episode 2, where the zombie fights do come but as a rare treat rather than your over-the-top non-stop bloodbath a lot of series opt for. Flashbacks and non-linear storytelling is not unique to The Last of Us by no means. Series like The Walking Dead use this all the time. However, where The Last of Us differs is that its flashbacks are often with characters we never see again, making their importance to the story much more subtle. This is done to give the story far more depth. It allows the show to explore topics of humility, the human moral compass, and what motivates people to do good, rather than just being about survival. Perhaps the best example of these subtle flashbacks is in episode 3. This episode is what really cemented the show as one of the standouts of 2023 so far, as it unusually chooses to follow two new characters, Bill and Frank. These characters alone are crafted extremely well, with Bill almost being your stereotypical anti-government doomsday prepper, however with his sexuality adding an unusual twist. Throughout this episode we see the beautiful love story unfold between these two unlikely characters, and while it is great viewing, the whole time you can't help but wonder how this really relates to the story. Surely you can't dedicate an entire episode to something that does nothing to progress the story, you'd have thought, and you'd be right. It leaves it till the end of the episode to reveal how this story has everything to do with Joel and Ellie, and how this potentially could be the most pivotal turning point in Joel's character arc, as he is read the letter behind by Bill. It completely shifts Joel's perspective on his current situation, and is a stroke of genius from the writers. While other shows would have opted to use flashbacks from its main character's past to explain their intentions, this uses flashbacks from a symmetrical story, with the end result being way more entertaining, as we already know Joel's story and how it turns out, but not this new one. While this idea could come across as cheap and cheesy, the way it is implemented is perfect and really allows you to fully understand Joel's motivation. Fans of the series will know this deviates quite a lot from the video games, especially when in comparison to how similar pretty much every other aspect of the story has remained identical to the game. This, however, is exactly how a good adaptation should change source material. When The Last of Us released back in 2013, developers were uneasy about exploring Bill's homosexuality in depth, so instead opted to merely hint at it. Whereas this show clearly departs from this, making a story that ends up being way more captivating than in the game, where Bill is just left behind to keep surviving and being miserable after the death of Frank. As bolder move to deviate heavily from this source material, fans seem to universally be in agreement it was the right decision, and has led to some extremely impactful emotional moments, which is another reason why the show has proved to be such a success. The performances from Nick Offerman and Barry Barlett can't go unmentioned as well. Their portrayal of these characters is flawless. The emotional devastation, worry, sadness and happiness in their story is excellently conveyed to the audience, creating an emotional rollercoaster it's impossible not to be invested in. There have been a few critiques of minor details in the episode that have come under fire, mainly like why Bill stands out in the open shooting his gun when defending his home. One would assume such a well-prepared survivalist would have some sort of cover to safely shoot from, but other than that, this episode is amazing. There are more flashbacks, like the woman who realised what the outbreak meant for humanity, and others that I could talk about all day, and how it impacts the story in subtle, yet extremely meaningful ways. But it's clear how this innovative writing style has really helped elevate The Last of Us to being so much more than your standard zombie series. What did you think of The Last of Us? Let us know in the comments below. If you're interested in content on DICE, or want to sell your content to a global audience, then please get in touch with us via our website connect.digital, or our email address dicesales@connectdigital.com. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like this one. Have a great day.